So what we have here is the October 24th, 1935 Boston Daily Record, and you can probably make out the headline, Dutch Schultz shot down. So Dutch Schultz was a famous Depression-era gangster. Started as in the beer rackets. After Prohibition, he was rubbed out by the Crime Commission under Lucky Luciano. He was a Jewish gangster. He was known for being ruthless and callous. Not a good fit for the commission that was trying to keep a low profile. He was portrayed in movies. If you're interested in the story, I showed you in a couple earlier videos back my Hit the Dutchman movie. He's also, that same actor plays him again in a remake of Mad Dog Co. He's in the original Mad Dog Co. He was played by Andy Garcia in Hoodlum. He was played by James Remar in The Cotton Club. He was played by Dustin Hoffman in Billy Bathgate. So, if you are interested in the Dutch Schultz story, and all of those movies show his rise, beating the rap and then being assassinated. So, but let's look at this paper. Boston Daily Record, Boston's home picture newspaper, Thursday, October 24th, 1935, final edition of the day, price 2 cents. The weather, fair, cooler, moderate to fresh northwest winds, high tides at 1:15 a.m. and 1:23 p.m., light all vehicles at 6:10 p.m. And let's take a look at this headline. Dutch Schultz shot down, dine and gang war, 5 pals wounded. Newark, New Jersey. Gang guns blazed tonight, and a vicious outburst of racketeering rivalry in Arthur Dutch Schultz, Flagenheimer, and 3 lieutenants fell on 2 fronts. Those lieutenants were Otto Berman, Lulu Rosenkrantz, and Irving Weinbaum, I think, were the names of the 3 people who died with Schultz. They were his 2 gunmen and his advisor. Schultz was critically wounded, his lungs punctured, and a bullet lodged near the heart, and 2 henchmen were shot down in a Newark tavern. That was the Palace Chop House, the building that they fought to save but was recently torn down. A 3rd member of the gang dropped in a hail of bullets and struck a Subway barber shop refuge he saw near crowded 47th Street and 7th Avenue, New York, at almost the same time. Police definitely linked the shootings with the Brooklyn hatchet torch killing early today of Louis Amberg, the 7th to die in recent weeks during a New York gang war over control of petty rackets. Deputy Chief Inspector Francis J. Kira, commanding detectives in Manhattan, began a hunt for Charlie Lucky Luciano, whom he accused of having set a 0 hour to extirpate the Schultz legions. And here's 2 pictures of Schultz, one from the 20s and one right before the shooting. Now we have more on this story. Gang bullets start Dutch Schultz on his last ride. There's a picture of him. He beat a tax evasion trial in upstate New York by winning over the jury prior to the trial. He ingratiated himself with the community, and he was a clever guy, but it was a short-lived victory because the shooting came shortly after that. Beer baron riddled in gun duel, 5 shot. I'm dying, Schultz cries. Police summoned by telephone. Send me out of balance. I'm dying. Arrived to find Schultz still conscious. Bernard Rosenkrantz, 36, generally regarded as Schultz's chauffeur, and Otto Berman, 46, another Schultz adherent, lay wounded. Leo Frank, 40, a bystander, was struck by one of the bullets. So he had some interesting last words. When as Schultz lay dying, he drifted in and out of consciousness. That's a picture of him as he lay dying. And this book has all of his last words. And it goes on for pages. I'm not going to read all of it, but I thought I would read just a snippet of it. The Dutchman was hit all right, but he wasn't dead. Rushed to the New York City Hospital, Schultz lay dying and raving. His last words as he slipped in and out of a coma, his body leaking blood like a sieve. 500 cubic centimeters of blood were administered him in a fruitless, massive transfusion. was a grim ode to the short, brutal life of a gangster. The Dutchman's last words, taken down by police stenographer F.J. Lang, quote, "George, don't make no fool moves. What have you done with him? Oh, mama, mama, mama. Oh, stop it, stop it. Oh, sure, sure, mama. Now listen, Phil," possibly referring to his ex-partner, policy king dandy Phil Castell. "Fun is fun. Ah, please, Papa, what happened to the 16? Oh, he done it, please. John," a reference to Johnny Torrio. "Please, oh, did you buy the hotel? You promised $1 million, sure. Get out, I wish I knew. Please make it quick, fast and furious. Please, fast and furious. Please help me get out. I am getting my wind back, thank God. Please, please, oh please. You will have to please tell him, and got no case. You get ahead with the dot dash system. Didn't I speak that time last night? Whose number is it in your pocketbook? Phil, 13780? Who was it? Oh, please, please. Reserve decision. Police, police. Henry and Frankie. Oh, dog biscuits. And when he's happy, he doesn't get snappy. Please, please do this. Then Henry, Frankie. Have you didn't meet him? You didn't even meet me. The glove will fit what I say. Oh, kayaki, sure. Who cares when you are through? How do you know this?" And it just goes on and on and on. I mean, his last words go on for pages as he lay. And he didn't answer any questions, and when they asked who shot him, he just said the big boss. And generally, they thought that meant Luciano. Okay. Some other news. Gooston case is given to jury. The case against Stephen Wallace alias Gooston for a conspiracy to kill a police officer with some other guys. 2 students, actually 7 Saga 6 students were expelled for refusing to do the Pledge of Allegiance due to religious beliefs. I think when I was in school, we had one student who refused to do that. I think she was, one religion that didn't believe in that. Here's an article. Bose and tap dancer near death by drowning. John Bose, film star, and Bill Robinson, Bojangles, premier tap dancer, narrowly escaped death by drowning late today when they fell into a tank of water while participating in final scenes of a picture, and Shirley Temple was present. So, I never knew that. This is about the war between Ethiopia and Italy. Selassie versus Mussolini. The Italians are getting diseases that's holding them up, but this is early World War II brewing. So Britain and France, a new military pact. Hitler's been in power for 2 years at this point, and Britain, Europe is already getting very nervous. So all of these headlines you could sum up as pre-war. Here's Franklin Roosevelt renews his anti-war pledge. Notice how they don't say FDR, they just say FR. This is before FDR caught on. Here we got some ads. At Feline's, you got some mascots and suspenders and belts for good prices. 50 cents, 39 cents, and 29 cents. That's where you can get your dress shirts. You can also get the new radio. It's got long and shortwave, operates AC or DC, improved dynamic speaker, and RCA licensed. It's a Normandy. They're a good radio. If you can get it, pick up at Feline's next time you're there. Eczema torments quickly pacified by efficient help of post-lime, a concentrated ointment. Duce withdraws 10,000 from Libya. I believe they ended up firebombing Libya afterwards to test weapons. A lot of the predication of that war was to test weapons that would be used in World War II later. Brazil ignores League of Nations appeal. Britain must be ready for war. 7 trips daily. New York, $3.50. Victoria Berkshire Lines, train tickets. Jordan Marsh Company. Defeat lines in your skin with vitamin D in Vitaray. Vitaray vitamins, all-purpose for $1. It's a cream. Camel Suede, $6.95 for this dress. Junior size is 11-17. That velvety new fabric, Camel Suede. Latest Croquino Permanence. That's the hairdo from the 30s. It's like a marriage racket thing. Teachers form union at Harvard. Girl is rescued from Charles by Ace. The Charles River. Here's Vicks. Vicks Vetrano helps prevent many colds. Liquors at Dock Square Liquor Mart. See, Prohibition ended 2 years ago, so we're buying liquor again. Suspect in girl lure case held. Bach new head of advocate. Let's see. New buses, New York, $3. Anniversary sale bargains at Kane's Warehouse. Some furniture ideas here. Here's Lennox jewelry. And you can also get irons, toasters, a waffle iron, a blender, a coffee set. At Scott Furrier's, here's some of the deals. Dresses, sport coats, wardrobe. Charges of girl nabs dance professor. Louis Lerner, 32, Back Bay dancing teacher, was arrested late yesterday on a charge of suspicion of a criminal assault upon Frances Glazer, 22, of Commonwealth Avenue. Claimed he had not only attacked but beat her and stripped her of her clothing in his Hemaway Street apartment. Held without bail at the Black Bay Station last night to face this and other serious charges in Roxbury District Court today. The girl was reportedly still suffering from shock and hysteria. Produce seeks lenderized beauty at your risk. White's Thrift Basement. Backaches due to motherhood. Some relief there. Bloodstained pillow. Cloutier's girl swears. Evidence that may send Alexander Cloutier to jail for life was given today at his trial on the charge of having murdered Florence Grenier by a pretty girl in blue, the former sweetheart of his brother Noah. So it's another famous case. Tunerville folks. Mickey McGuire. High taxes wrapped by Wayne Randolph Hearst. This is Summerfield's outlet store. A little football cartoon there. Camels don't get your win. Famous athletes agree. And this is interesting. Here is an ad for Camel Smokes, and athletes, people are promoting it. So this is a full page ad for Camel cigarettes, and I just don't think that if you want to be a tennis player or a polo player, you should be smoking Camels. That's probably not going to help your performance that much. But it was a different time, and we're not going to judge. Okay. Schultz shooting laid to gang war. More about Dutch Schultz here. Kermit Roosevelt Jr. Was fined for speeding. That was Teddy Roosevelt's grandson. Not Franklin, but he's probably cousin of Franklin. Acid indigestion corrected without soda. Skinny men get this news. Another one of them. Get in shape if you're skinny and scrawny. The Social Front, Mrs. Richardson to Mrs. Harvard plans. Mrs. Richardson show paintings. Mrs. Harvard plans Red Cross tea. Nation Non-Plus estimates the price of sensational whiskey over 40% too high. Old Drum brand whiskey. Well worth $1.75. Very smooth when taken straight. So we are in full force liquor ads again now that Prohibition is over. Gotta carefully turn this page. His trial unfair is Bruno plea. Bruno Richard Hauptmann. We talked about this before, the Limburg kidnapping, and Bruno Hauptmann is Richard Hauptmann, kidnapper and slayer of the Limburg baby, will ask the Supreme Court early next month to halt his sentence of death on grounds of having had an unfair trial. So we could have a whole video just discussing that. Oh, here's the cat. You want to make a cameo? Come here. Oh, you want to make a cameo? Guess not. Okay. Some more radios. Another acid indigestion. Phillips milk of magnesia. Esther McGill. Esther, alarmed by plight, prayed for aid in Sherm's wooing. Another colorful chapter of her ill-fated romance with Neil Sherman is unfolded today by Esther McGill in her own story of events leading up to the American tragedy, murder of the burly scoutmaster's young wife. So I think this is a ripped from the headlines serial in the paper. Curley and Mary land at Frisco. That's Governor James Curley. Thief is saved by wife's plea. Fear hundreds killed in blast. Here's Hollywood news. Ethel Waters, Boris Karloff, W.C. Fields. More trips to New York on the Greyhound. Interestingly, bus travel was incredibly popular at this time because of a movie called It Happened One Night had come out a few months before, and there was a bus travel craze going on all over the country, so people were taking buses more than ever. Just a little tidbit. Thrift at a party. Yes, sir. Crab Orchard, Kentucky Straight Whiskey. Brown's Used Furniture. So keep in mind two things. Bus travel's big. Prohibition's over. And the Great Depression is possibly, if it wasn't 1933, this might be maybe the worst year of the Great Depression. Here's more movie news. Movies were big. I mean, movies commanded more attention in the paper because times were rough. I'm getting some coffee. Reinhardt film to aid Hub Film. Max Reinhardt. Let's see if we can find anything that you might know about. Catherine DeMille. In the Crusades. Directed by her father, Cecil B. DeMille. And this is showings at different theaters, at talkies. Last Days of Pompeii, Harmony Lane, The Rainmakers, Shipmates Forever, O'Shaughnessy's Boy, Hands Across the Table, It's in the Air, The Crusades, Gay Deception, Special Agent, Woman Wanted, Last Wilderness. Cecil B. DeMille's Crusades was pretty big. This is post-code, too. The Hays Code had already kicked in, so these movies were post-code. Joan Crawford, I Live My Life. There's the big poster for this movie. She tamed Clark Gable, and she made Bob Montgomery behave. Wow. Many changes on Hub Scream schedule for next 2 days. Dick Powell, Ruby Keeler, Shipmates Forever. So here's some posters of some of the ones we just saw. Paul Muni, Dr. Socrates, Guy Lombardo, the Ritz Brothers. They were like that poor man's Marcus Brothers. The Last Outpost, Way Down East, Benny Rubin, Red Hot Rhythm Review. It looked kind of like vaudeville. Most of the people alive remembered vaudeville, so they still had vaudeville-like things. Like they had movies that were in many ways like vaudeville shows, like a lot of the ones that were directed by Busby Berkeley were just sort of a continuation of vaudeville. Here's some, if you remember some of my earlier videos from the 30s, and it was a popular thing in the 30s to have a section like this that would have pictures and just little captions. It was just like interesting pictures, like viral pictures. Oh, here comes the cat. Okay. Miss Illinois, Alice Jalowski of Chicago. Bedecked in robes of orient splendor, these high princes of the Ethiopian church are leaving St. George's Church in Addis Ababa. Ethiopia is big news right now because of the fight with Italy. Mama Tigers in the Whipsnade Zoo of London. A strike ending in Salem. Deathbed scene. At Los Angeles hospital shows officers O.D. Yancey dying after being shot in mistake by prowler policewoman Jane Pierce. So he was actually, it was friendly fire. It's oh wow, and that's his wife. And she looks really devastated. Sorry, carefully turn this page. Okay, well-dressed girl never wears imitations by Faye King. Latest in patterns. As isn't England satisfied yet? And this is talking about the impending war. If you're interested in World War II, this is the stuff you would probably be wanting to read. Beauty culture. The stars may tell but not compel. This is like horoscopes. Your personal horoscope with astrological monthly guide from 1935. Bleaches. Be a bleached blonde with Oriental cream. Tragic lesson. This is the editorials. Dear Uncle Sam, USA, what do you intend to do about Ethiopia signed the League of Nations? I intend to mind my own business. Why don't you do the same, Uncle Sam? Very telling. We're seeing the pull to get involved when there was still a real passion to be neutral at this time. Now we have the comics. And very much like papers we've watched from this decade, we have Mickey Mouse, Tilly the Toiler, Brick Bradford. Here's it's the Jiglet. It is that's what it says. It's a puzzle, and that gives you instructions. There's a crossword puzzle, and there's a solution. So it's kind of like a shade by number thing. It's kind of an interesting idea. We have on this side Little Miss Muffet, the G-Man, Toots and Casper, the Nebs, and the Tarzan twins. Contraband, Daily True Story. This is more of that ripped from the headlines kind of serial. Inquiring Reporter. The American Girl regards marriage too flippantly and considers it a mere detail in her career. Eternal Triangle. Betty's Daughter, Brilliant Marriage by Ursula Parrott, author of Ex-Wife. Way to Prevent Blackheads. And boy, she's got some blackheads, doesn't she? Wow. Deaf Woman Now Hears on Telephone. Wisdom Box. The paper had a lot more stuff going on in the 30s. Rudy Valley, great singer, great crooner. Here's the radio guide for today, and we can see the kind of shows that we're on. If you're interested in radio, and I've mentioned his channel before, but the radio broadcast of all I listen to often at work. When I'm working, I just turn it on, and here is the kind of shows that were on the radio. A lot of Kate Smith, Rudy Valley, Death Valley Days. So I recognize a few things as we get farther into the 30s. Here's Up and Down Main Street. Here's some sports news. Prince Abbott is Gansett winner. Oh, here we got the sports pages. A lot of horse racing. There's a lot of gambling going on at this time. Wow, I mean, it's like a lot of horse racing. And Radio Patrol. Tigers Army game in 38. And here's the Ripley's Believe It or Not section. Little Margaret Rigdon of Corozal, Panama, age 2.5, chewed the head off a coral snake. Huh. Interesting. And it's more racetrack stuff. I guess racing was really big. Walter Winchell on Broadway. Salesman says Howard clothes are okay. Howard clothes. Get a free 6-piece manicure set. And we get to the back page and we get the other headlines. So, Britain, France, War Pact, and some other horse racing. And okay, so that's the paper from beginning to end. Now, I will go do one more flip through in case you missed anything. Okay, and I sure hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it interesting. And I always find these little papers to be interesting. And I have a lot more like this, so if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so if you want more videos like this to watch. And if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye.